Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sharon Spurlock, and I'm here today with quite a few members of our Self Advocate group who are here to talk to you about what they've learned as a St. Louis Self Advocate and how they share that with our community. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Hannah Satterwhite, who's the ARC host for this group, to start our introductions. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, everyone. I'm one of the family navigators on the family supports team here at the ARC, along with Kate, who's also a family navigator. And we do a lot on the family supports team. And one thing we do is we have a bunch of groups that we love to meet with. And the Self Advocates is one of those groups. This group meets once a week, and anyone who is an adult with a disability in the area is welcome to join. And we actually have a few people that join us from outside of St. Louis as well, because they love the group and love what we have going on. So we're really excited to talk with you about the group. So the Self Advocates who are on today are here to share their experiences. So let's start with Isaiah, if you want to introduce yourself, and if you guys want to share how long you've been attending Self Advocates, if you can recall how long it's been, feel free to share that as well.
Hi, my name is Isaiah Bordston. I'm from St. Louis Self Advocate, and I've been here since 2021, around 2020 to 2021. So roughly around 2 years. And right now I'm dealing with guardianship related stuff, and my mom is basically restricting me for guardianship, and right now I am at the appeal process for guardianship, and I've been with this guardianship since 2018.
So you have shared a lot with the group about wanting to work on gaining some more independence, and you've helped to educate a lot of folks in our group about guardianship and things like that. So that's just one area that the group explores. We look at advocacy in all forms. So thank you, Isaiah, for introducing yourself and your story. Katie,
No
do you want to go
problem.
next?
Yeah, I'm Katie Johnson. I've been here, I think, a little over a year, and I am the communication outreach specialist for St. Louis ARC, and I also do the music program. So I really enjoy everything about the St. Louis ARC. I've been with St. Louis ARC since I was little. So I really enjoyed them throughout my life.
I love how we can kind of be in folks' stories through different parts of life. And yeah, Katie is one of our officers. So she's in a leadership role on the Self Advocates group. She helps to connect with the community, and we'll talk more about some of the cool things she's done a little bit later. Jakeem, do you want to introduce yourself? Do you want me to introduce you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Jakeem is another one of our Self Advocates. I know he's been on over a year, maybe longer. It's been quite a long time, and we really appreciate having him here today on the call. So thanks for joining us. Usman, if you want to introduce yourself, you're welcome to over chat or any way you want to, or if you want one of us to read something, feel free to send us a message.
Hi, hello, my name is Usman Paracha. I've been with this group about a couple months, and I do enjoy joining this group. Who I'm working with, Miss Hannah, she's a very nice, I call it a teacher. I don't know, but she's very nice and sweet. Miss Kate, she is very friendly. She works with everybody and asks them how they're doing. But so far, I am glad to be a part of this group, and glad that St. Louis ARC choose me as a learner from this group, and I hope to be with them long term.
Thanks, Usman. That's really
welcome.
kind of you to say. And we all definitely learn alongside each other. I've learned a lot from the group as well. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm learning and not necessarily teaching, but you guys teach me a lot too.
Yes.
Kate, do you want to introduce yourself too?
Hi, I'm Kate Carr. I'm one, like Hannah said, another family navigator and family supports. I kind of help run Self Advocates weekly, and we do. It's a lot of fun. It's one of probably my most favorite support groups because I learn from all of you. There's so many just new things that we talk about in life experiences and education. And when I first started, I didn't know that advocacy can be in multiple different areas, and I didn't know how to grow that for me personally. And I will say this group has helped me tremendously learn to not only advocate for myself, but just how I can grow. And then meeting with you guys, it's really awesome. So
What a great group. And I'm so glad, Usman, that you were able to come on board and share your face with us. That was great. I just want to give a shout out to Jakeem because he was part of our original social justice group prior to COVID. So we've been working together on all kinds of issues of advocacy for a long time. So I'm going to pull up a short presentation because the group would like to tell you a little bit about their mission.
So Katie, who are the St. Louis Self Advocates?
We seek to empower each other and create awareness about disability-related issues and ways to improve our community.
And this is a little bit about when we meet. We currently meet on Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Zoom. And you can get that link by emailing me. My email's there, and I assume it will also be shared with this video. So, and there's also a phone number there. You can call to be added to an email list and get those Zoom reminders. And most of the time it is a virtual meeting, but we do have some events that we'll plan in person. So if you are interested in in-person things, I would say once every couple months or so, there's probably some sort of in-person event as well. And these are just some great photos of years past and events that folks in our group have attended. We've got some people at the Capitol for Disability Rights Legislative Day. We've got a photo from a picnic in the park, and we have a photo of Katie at Festability this year. So we get out there, and it's proof we are not just on Zoom.
While we've got this photo picked up, Katie, can you talk about the picture of you?
That is actually one of my workers with me. We went to Festability. Her name's Margie. So she is awesome. She is not with me today, but she we were able to do lots of fun things there. We got different resources that we could use, and I was able to be a part of a drum circle, so that was fun too.
How awesome. Did you have a drum?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. So I think that's a really interesting place to start because that Disability Rights March that leads off Festability is the responsibility of the St. Louis Self Advocate Group to pull together. So that was a really cool project that you guys have done for the last 2 years that was actually suggested by our very first president, Mikhail, and it's nice to see that continues to happen. Does anybody else want to add anything about Festability or Disability Pride before I start asking questions?
I don't know if we're gonna mention this, but we do need to mention our DSPs too, because they help us get to our events. So I have a really good company. So really awesome people. They're the reason I can get to events. So without them, it wouldn't be possible.
Wow, that is so nice to hear. I'm going to use,
Yeah.
spell it out, direct support professionals. That's what a DSP is. And I know that
Yeah.
that's a big part of our advocacy work is putting enough resources in place so you can have the awesome staff that you do have helping you. Have you ever
Right.
spoken up, Katie, to your legislators about the need to have good DSPs?
I have, yes.
Yeah, and how do you think they received that? Were they
They received it very well. Hannah was actually there with me when I did it, so I was awesome.
awesome? Well, I love to hear about that. So let's lean in a little bit to that part of your mission statement about increasing awareness about disability related issues. A big one is making sure that people are getting paid enough so that we have a workforce that can help people get to the places they want to go, get support on the job to be successful. And that's a really cool thing that you brought out, Katie. I'm really glad you did. Isaiah, we are talked briefly before about decision making and guardianship. Has there been, what's happened with the St. Louis Advocate Group that has allowed you to kind of take more responsibility to build your independence? Can you tell us your story?
They started having touches and they started having some lawyers, and I was all happy.
Yeah, so you brought the issue to the table and we invited a lawyer to come and talk about what kinds of things you could do under guardianship, the decisions you could still make. And they also helped us to understand a little bit more about what to do if you felt like the guardianship was not appropriate, that you didn't need that level of service. Anybody else want to comment on decision making or guardianship?
I'll just say that's one of the cool things about the group is that if someone brings up an issue that's important to them, we work together to, if we want to plan an event or a campaign or something related to that issue, we can do that. We invited, like Sharon said, we invited a county commissioner to come and speak about guardianship rights. The group has all had amazing questions for those folks who come in and visit us. We've had legislators come to talk with us on Zoom. Really we're here to support folks in what they want to be doing. So that's one of the reasons I say I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about transportation. I've learned a lot about guardianship. And a lot of that is because the self-advocates are interested in those things and bring them up. So there's no agenda that's created for the group. They really create their own agenda. And I think that's one of the best things about it.
So Hannah brought up a hot topic, transportation. Is there anything you've learned about transportation or that you've advocated for to make transportation better?
I recently worked with Anna Montaga because she has a group, and I wrote something for her and was able to help her with transportation. I don't know how the rally went because I never heard about it, but I hope it was successful because that was my point in helping her with that.
Thank you, Katie. That's one thing that I think is so important about this group is I think all of us feel more comfortable advocating when we are not alone, when we've got other people who know that the same issue is important to us. And you mentioned Anna, who's the president of our regional People First group and who's an awesome friend to this group. We can take our voices and combine them with the voices of other advocacy groups. And it really is a lot of people then speaking out about things like making transportation better. Usman's got his hand up. What would you like to say, sir?
So this group, I learned about ColorRide. Basically, I use ColorRide a lot. I trust ColorRide. I know their service was down a few weeks ago, and that's kind of really frustration because whenever you have a ride and next month they say that we cannot pick you up because the service is down. And I noticed that sometimes like they said the first come, first serve. So you have to like call them 7:30. Whenever you call them, they have a long hold time. So I mean, I wish they have some kind of like an app use like we can request online for caller ride. But so far, I'm having a okay experience with caller ride, but it changes every time. But so far, caller ride is the best option for like with special needs kids. Sometimes I go to the doctor's appointment. I use caller ride for that because having Medicaid pays for the ride, so that's kind of awesome. So I just wanted to put that experience out there.
Wonderful, wonderful points. And I don't think people understand what you have to go through to get your caller ride schedule. You mentioned getting on the phone at 7:30 in the morning. You kind of have to do that every single day to schedule your rides because you can't get a standard ride out there, which has got to be really frustrating. Does it take a long time to wait on the phone, Usman?
So okay, so whenever you call caller ride, it says that please wait until customer service is able to pick up your phone. It end up hang up the phone. Then you have to wait another hour. Then next moment they say there's no open spot for you. Sorry, we cannot pick you up. So I mean, I wish they have some kind of better options to use like a app or something, but
No.
it's kind of frustration because you wake up 7:30 and you call them and now they're full because there are some like 1,000 people online and
Mhm.
it's first come first serve. So I mean that's the
Yeah.
only way to get around.
It's super rough. And I don't think the general public understands how much time people have to spend just trying to get a ride, that they've been very short of drivers, so routes have been canceled or limited. So I think that's part of having your voice heard, is making sure that other people know what your life experience is. And just a shout out to Metro. We've had them on this show, and I think that their accessibility department is doing the best they can with the resources they've got. They've talked about wanting to have an app too, but they don't have the capacity to really do that without more support from our tax dollars and support from the community. So thank you for raising that issue and kind of sharing a few more details about that. I think it's really important for people. You mentioned Medicaid, and I know that Medicaid is one of those things that is important for us to make sure people understand how many of your services come from Medicaid dollars. And I know you guys invited legislators to come to talk about Ticket to Work, which I don't even know if I can explain it. So I might have to have one of you talk a little bit about the new law and what you were able to learn from your legislators about that.
I'll start off by saying we had Representative Melanie Stinnett join us virtually. She is a representative from Springfield, and she was one of the legislators who carried this legislation. There have been several over the years who have put this legislation out there and tried to get it passed, and then finally this past year it was passed. So our group also wanted to learn a lot more about it. We invited Representative Stinnett as well as some folks from DMH to come talk about benefits.
Hannah, am I right that Ticket to Work is about allowing people to make more money and still keep their benefits?
Yeah, it essentially raises the amount of money you can make and still keep your benefits. And something we've talked quite a lot about in the group as well is dating and relationships and what happens if you choose to get married. So I know we've had a couple passionate advocates who were like, I want to plan my future and I don't want something like marriage to hold me back from receiving the supports that I really need. So this new legislation will discount up to a certain amount of a spouse's income. So if you are receiving benefits and you get married, as long as your spouse, makes a certain amount or under, then their income will not affect your benefits, if that makes sense. So we definitely went into that one quite a bit. That was pretty interesting. Anyone else have anything else to add? I know Katie, you've been interested in benefits and working as well.
Yes, I'm hoping to look into that more during the new year. So
Yeah. So I think we definitely learned quite a bit, and there's still going into those, details about all those bills that have recently passed sometimes takes a few visits and a few times to read through it to really understand how it will affect folks. But we're more than happy to break it down and learn alongside you.
I want to talk about community outreach a little bit more, because you guys have talked about talking to legislators and getting out to festability and things like that. Something that I love to do with people in this group is community presentations. And I want to talk about like where you've maybe gone out and done presentations and where you'd like to be able to do presentations. So Katie, I hate to hit you up again, but I know you have been one of our best representatives to go out and talk to schools. You want to get us started?
yes, I love talking to schools because the kids are so engaged and so interactive, and the more we talk to them, the more questions came about. So it's just sparked their interest, and I love that. I'm an aunt, so hearing those questions reminded me of my niece and nephews. So, and I am going to actually go to their school. So, because of this, because of doing all that at the schools, I was able to contact Fort DuPont. Hannah and I just talked to them yesterday. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping to reach more people within the new year. So,
And Katie, do you have a favorite question or one that stood out to you that I think it was the third grade class that we spoke with last?
well, just the curiosity about our chairs, and when people speak to us, how we interact with them, that was really cool. Because I knew they weren't afraid of me when they asked me that. So that made me feel really good.
I'm going to ask you guys kind of a tricky question, and everybody can answer that wants to. Why do you think it's important to go and be visible and talk to kids about your disability?
Can I go first on
You
this
sure
one?
can.
For disability empowerment and knowledge. So when they do come to somebody, they know automatically to ask them and not go to someone else.
Okay, awesome. So you want kids to know they can come directly to you and
Right,
be out there fabulous.
right.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. It's one of my favorite things too, because when I'm up there doing it, I think about how those kids are going to grow up and they're going to go to college with people with disabilities, and they're going to work with people with disabilities, and they're going to live in neighborhoods with people with disabilities and be on clubs and churches and sports teams with them. And I just think that helping kids to get to know people with disabilities right away is such a important thing, because we want to change the world, not just our little piece of it. And I think that's how to do that. There is a question from the audience about how you worked on your public speaking skills, and specifically to participate in advocacy days, how have you learned to speak better publicly?
I have an answer I can give. Does anyone else want to go first about maybe giving an example of how you felt you have grown with your public speaking?
I can if you're okay with it.
Yeah, go for it.
Just by taking in all the energy around me. That helps me. The more energetic the audience is, the more I want to talk.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hannah. Isaiah, you seem to be a naturally gifted speaker. Is there some tips that you would give people that might want to go out and speak up for themselves? Is there anything you do before you're going to go speak up for yourself about?
I will say be ready, like I would say be ready to speak up for yourself and be prepared.
Oh gosh,
Oh
good
my
advice.
God.
So when you are preparing, do you make notes or do you practice what you're going to say? How do you prepare?
Practice.
Okay, so you actually say it out loud a few times?
Yes.
Nice. I do that too. Hannah and Kate, as part of getting ready for legislative interaction, are there any things that you do I know like when you've had guest speakers, you've helped people like prepare in advance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one example is we had a legislator visit with Melanie Stinnett, Representative Melanie Stinnett, and we were looking to organize our thoughts. And so the group together took a few weeks to, a few meetings prior to prepare a PowerPoint slide presentation. And what that did was it gave us a little time to brainstorm about what would we like to know, what do we really want to ask her, and then who would like to speak and who feels comfortable reading and or speaking in front of the group. And if someone didn't want to, that's also okay. They could maybe still ask their question and have a friend read it for them. And some folks choose to do it that way and collaborate in that sense. So we will do preparation before a large event. We also, if you live in the St. Louis area, we typically will bring a group in person to go to Jefferson City at least once a year. Usually it's Disability Rights Legislative Day. And that is an opportunity to meet with your legislators if you plan ahead and set a meeting. And it's also an opportunity to hear from speakers across the state. And two of our past presidents of this group have actually spoken at Disability Rights Legislative Day in the past. So Lucy and Mike Hale both had speaking roles in front of hundreds of people. So leading up to that, we did meet separately and go over how to write a speech, how to maintain your composure when you're nervous. And they both did phenomenal jobs, of course. So, it's really whatever floats your boat. You don't have to be speaking in front of a crowd of hundreds of people, but if that's something you're passionate about, we're happy to help you with it.
I want to come back to Disability Legislative Rights Day so you can talk about that a little bit. But before I do, I just want to give a little encouragement. If you're watching this and you're thinking, I would really like to be part of this group, I just want you to know that everybody is welcome to come to this group. It is a group for people that are 18 and older, but you don't have to have any particular type of disability, any disability, you're welcome to join us. If you're an ally to a person with disabilities, you can talk to Hannah or Kate about whether there's a role for you here. And I think sometimes people don't recognize, you mentioned our two former presidents in your last comment. Both of them turned their experience as the presidents of an advocacy group into other opportunities. One of them is on our board of directors at the St. Louis ARC and moved on to get a job supporting other people with disabilities in school. The other one is in college and has gotten a scholarship to be a legislative advocate and has been able to go around and speak around the country. So these were people just like you that came and were part of our group and built their confidence and their skill sets and then went on and had other opportunities. So you might be that next person that wants to come and build your skills and become president. So wasn't that a good little
That was a good segue.
testimonial? Anyway,
Yeah,
all right.
Lucy just spoke in Washington, D.C., so anything's possible.
Yeah, she's a quite an amazing advocate, and I'm so excited for her and the opportunities she's got. So Hannah, your baby is kind of Disability Rights Legislative Day. Can you tell everybody a little bit about what that is and how you have supported the St. Louis Self Advocates to be a part of that?
Absolutely. So Disability Rights Legislative Day is a rally in Jefferson City, and it happens once a year. It is organized by people with disabilities and volunteers from different agencies who want to help to connect folks with information and help to bring folks together. So it's a statewide operation, and it's a collaboration that the ARC usually participates in heavily. And you know, we usually take a group, as I said before. This group, the Self Advocates, learn about Disability Rights Legislative Day before it happens and have opportunities to participate, whether that be in the planning, or if they want to be a speaker, they can, you know, work up to building, you know, some skills and how to do that. But we, you know, we hope to see everyone joining either virtually or in person. I believe this year or next year in 2024, it's March 13th is the date. I could be wrong, but I think that's that's the date. And so, you know, it's a huge deal. There's hundreds of people that gather together, and you know, you can watch from the comfort of your home if you would like to stay home, or if that's more accessible for you. And we hear from self-advocates across the state and legislators about how they intend to support our community in the coming legislative session. So it's a great learning experience. And I know Isaiah has been before, Kate has been before. We've got some other self-advocates who aren't on this call who have attended. So it's always a great time.
It was a fun day. That was something I feel like you can like, I'm excited about it because not only do you see, I mean, we saw so many different people that have been in the St. Louis Self Advocates or other agencies and other advocates, and hearing the speeches. And that was probably one of my most favorite days because it's just incredible. There's like so many people, but it's wonderful. It's such a great feeling, and it's a really great day. So
Isaiah, anything you want to add about going up to Jefferson City?
Yeah, I would say it was great. And on the first day, on the first time I went with my grandma, and I didn't get to meet all the later, but on the second year I went, I got to meet all the later, and it was great.
So Isaiah, I have to tell you this, a lot of the people that come to this presentation are family members, like your grandma or a parent, and a lot of them, not only do they not think legislative advocacy is very fun, they think it's really kind of scary to go and talk to their legislator. What can you tell them to make them feel more confident about speaking up about what they know?
Or to make them confident, I will make them know about not to be scared and not to be afraid. I will make them talk to the later and not be scared.
Were the legislators pretty nice?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anything else people want to say about that?
No.
I just want to say that I'm sorry, Isaiah, just to add that they work for you. If you reach out to a legislator that is representing your district, you are a voice that they need to hear, and they are there representing you at the Capitol. So it's, some people think they can't go, or that they would, you know, be turned down if they asked for a meeting, but truly, you can keep trying and keep persisting, because it's their job to talk with you and to support you and to carry your story with them as they're doing that work. So you have every right to be there, even if you're nervous, and we all get nervous sometimes.
Well said. Katie, did you want to add something?
Talking to legislators really helps things get moving, I think. Even though it takes time, things could change, and if we speak our minds, so that's why I love the self-advocates, because it gives us a chance to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Power in numbers. I think it kind of helps to get past some of that when you've got other people with you that are in the same fight. You know, and I'm still thinking about what Usman was saying about like the transportation situation, there's no way our legislators can know what your life experiences are like. So for Usman to be able to talk about what it's like to set up a ride to go to the doctor, for Katie to talk about how she relies on the direct support staff that come in that help her be able to live her life, for Isaiah to talk about decision making and how important it is for him to be in control of his life. Those are stories that everybody needs to hear. So I am so thankful for you all that you have found your voice and you have the confidence to speak up. So I'm going to close out. What I'd like to do is find out what your goals are for yourself and for the Self Advocate Group for the next year. Do you have any things that you'd like to just say on camera that would be really important for you as an advocate in the next year?
For next year, I think we should work on like how to be independent, like living independent and try to work on your things on your own. Like let's say I heard you guys talk about Ticket to Work. That's one of the like good program out there. So in the future wise, I think we will have a lot of more opportunities how to be a good adult and how to be independent and how to be responsible. So I think so far this is the best thing to work on in the future.
Nice. You know, I love that answer. I think sometimes we forget rights come with responsibilities, whatever those might be. And I love that you brought that up. And in the past, I know we've had advocates kind of share some of their strengths with budgeting and other kind of skills that really help lead to more independence. So great suggestion. Katie, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I just wanted to say, like I said, I hope that we are able to reach more people within the next year as the years go on, because I think it's important.
Agreed. Is there a group of people that you'd like to be invited to go speak in front of, Katie, other than schools?
Yeah, I'd like to speak at the civility one day.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Isaiah, what do you want to see happening in the next year for yourself and for the group?
I'm going to be living in a ISO.
So you're going to live a more independent life,
Yeah.
independent supported living. That's awesome. Is there anything that you think the advocate group could help you improve on in the next year, or an issue that you're concerned about that you want to make sure that gets addressed?
I'm more focused on guardianship until we get this process taken care of.
Great. I think that's it's not a one and done kind of thing, you guys, and you know that as advocates, we have to keep talking about decision making and how to expand decision making. So I'd love to see you all continue to work on that. That's pretty cool.
Something I'll say is just we welcome everyone to attend meetings with us. If you want to sit in and you're not sure if it's for you yet, but you want to come to one meeting, that's totally fine. There are no rules. Once you join the group, you can come whenever you have the time. You're not held to any particular schedule. But we are happy to have everyone. And we also do really fun social things. So this group really supports each other through thick and thin. That's one amazing thing that I've seen happen year after year, is that they do build friendships with one another, and you all are so supportive of each other. So please feel free to join us, reach out. We're happy to have you.
Great. Usman, do you want to wrap us up?
One more thing, I know like you guys saying that our voice need to be heard. So there's a special school district as part of Parkway. We can probably go like sometime in future, we go a few trips because they do have special needs and ADHD students there. We can go there and talk to all the staff and students, and we can speak about that program.
I love that idea. I think it's really important that students know that there are groups like this out here when they become adults and they're leaving the school system, that they can still connect with people and help them build their skills. So that's cool. Welcome back, Jakeem. We were just wrapping up and we were talking about anything that you want to share that's important with you as far as goals for the group for the new year. Are there things that you'd like to learn or issues you'd like to address?
That's one of the things I need some help on.
Okay. Do you like working on the things that the group comes up with right now?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. You know what, you guys, this has been a wonderful, wonderful presentation. We're going to take a bit of a break for the holiday season coming up, but in January, guess what? We're coming back and we're going to be talking about how to speak to your legislators. So you all might be able to give us some advice so that we can come back strong and talk about what to do. The legislature is going to be in session. They're going to be working on the budget. We're going to want to make sure we have our voices ready to go. So I just can't thank you enough for taking the time out today. You all were outstanding, and thank you for your work with the St. Louis Self Advocate Group. Everybody have a wonderful week. Thank you for attending.